All right. Hello, everybody. Gonna pull you guys up on my computer on Facebook so I can see comments. Happy Thursday. All right. Great. I hear that little beep. My iPad tells me we are live. Yes. Awesome. How is everyone doing? Just gonna give it a moment. Let me see. It looks like might have to adjust my camera a little. Just kind of close your eyes. Oh. All right, perfect. Sorry, I had to turn the volume off on my computer. Let's see. Okay, that looks better, I think. Ish. You know, when you have your, like when you take pictures, you know, you get that little, if you have the settings on your photos and your iPhone, you can set it so that you get that little crosshatch. So when it's solid yellow, then you know that it's, that you're straight, you're flat. You don't, Facebook doesn't seem to have that option. So I think it looks okay. How is everyone doing? I hope you're having a wonderful week. It's gone by fast. I can't believe it's Thursday already. It seemed like it went by super fast. So Carla shared lots of goodies with you guys last week. Some of the cards that we had on display at Carnival. And those cute little Kokeshi dolls. Connie made those for us during the Carnival. So that was quite nice to have those samples. So yeah, so that was lots of fun. So we're happy to be back though. I think Sandy is still updating the stock counts in the store, and there is some new stuff in the store that just has to get uploaded onto the website, and that's what I'm going to share with you guys today. We're going to take a look at some of the Waffle flower products that are in the store, and these are from their Quilted Hugs release. So today we're going to look at specifically the Quilted Floral Stencil. Okay, that's a 3-piece stencil, and I haven't actually done anything with this today or yet, so this is going to be fun to do together. See how that turns out. And then they've also got the Quilted Frame die, and so that die cuts for you a large frame, and then a smaller one, and then you can actually die cut these 2 blocks, and they're like little quilt blocks. I kind of die cut some earlier. Let me just push these out of the way a little bit just to show you. If you want to play with your, I was thinking it'd be really fun to play with your pattern papers, and you know, you're basically building little quilt blocks. So here are, I just want to show you the die cuts. So these pieces are this die here. Okay. So I cut them out of some different colored cardstocks, and then you can go ahead and piece those back together, either mixing up the colors, like using different colors. So let's kind of play around a little bit just to show you how that works. Let's see. We could go like that, and then we could build, so you can kind of custom build whatever colors you want, your own little paper quilt. You'd build your own little paper quilt block. Okay, so we could do that. And if we wanted to do, let's say, the center blue, we could do the center blue. And then we could repeat, just kind of mixing the other colors. Okay. I'm not going to actually, well, maybe do one physically. And then I'll kind of show you a sample I did. But I'll play with the rest of it off camera just because it'll take a while. So let's glue that together. I'm going to use my tweezers. We'll kind of build this first little quilt block together just to show you what that looks like. So I'm going to add a little glue here. Okay, this piece that I'm working on is actually the interior when you cut the frame. Oh, I should show you the frame. And I just had it here a second ago. Well, that's not very handy of me. Where did I put it? Well, we might have to cut another one. It is not a Facebook Live if I haven't misplaced at least one thing. Oh, there it is. It's behind me. Sorry, this is what that frame looks like when it's die cut. This is the large frame. So it's not quite an A2 size. Hi, Kathy. Okay, and then it cuts a smaller frame as well. Okay, so we're basically piecing, if you've ever done any quilting, when you piece your block together, and this is what we're doing with paper for this guy. We're going to line them up. Okay, and then I'll add the other side. So again, this would be actually quite fun to use your pattern papers with, right? Kind of treat them like fabric. Then we're going to add this guy. That will slide right in there. Hi, Melanie. And I think I have him just a little bit misaligned. There we go. All right, now we've got him. Okay, and then I can add our little center. We'll just go like this, and that'll inlay in there. All right. Just sits right in there. I kind of smushed that corner a little, that's okay. So there's our first quilt block. And then I can just repeat the pattern here. So maybe using the pink instead up here. And the blue. I'm going to have to cut a lot more of these to fill up this little panel. It's not even an A2 size panel. But that's okay. That's the fun part. All right, and then I'd maybe inlay this little yellow piece. Okay. And then I'd go through and repeat. So super fun. So again, this isn't this is here in Calgary, these products, but they're just have not quite gotten uploaded to the store yet. But if you are thinking you love it and you want it, you can just comment here or just email Sandy as well at sandy@scrapshots.com and let her know you're wanting the quilted frames die. But just to give you a peek, okay, and this again is something I'll finish this off camera, and then because it's going to take a little while to piece all that together. But I just want to show you a quick little sample I did yesterday with this die set, and using this same, I'm using this little guy, the smaller set of squares. Okay, and here I just took some leftover, like a scrap of 49 in Market, and then just die cut and piece that together. And then this, our border here on the frame is the smaller die in the die set. So really fun to play with. Super duper fun. Okay, so that's the Quilted Frames die. And I'm going to try not to drop this so that I know it's how I want it to be later. We'll push that aside. Okay, and so let's take a look at, I've been really looking forward to playing with this. Hi, Christy. And we are going to play with the Quilted Floral Stencil. Okay, so this is part of this Quilted Hug set, and there's a number of other stencils and stamps with that. If this is something that maybe you've seen some of the samples online with some of the other products that are in this suite, by all means, just again, you can just let Sandy know if you would like her to special order any of them for you. Okay. So I thought I had lined this up straight in here earlier, but apparently it's not. There we go. Okay, so this is stencil 1, and this is going to build, kind of like build your patchwork quilt. So I'm going to start with, I have to remember that this last this is going to layer on the color on top. So I want to make sure yeah, that'll work. It'll be kind of orangey. So I'm going to use the interference ink so that we get a really beautiful shimmer. And I'm going to use Tropical Paradise for this first stencil. And I think if I might have room here on my stamp pad, might have to work around that, but so I'm just going to tap my brush in there and start inking this up. Now, when you're using these ink pads, the interference and the metallic ink pads, I find that if you load up your brush really well with ink, so kind of really tap it in there, kind of get all that, a good amount of ink on there. If you're wanting your colors to be more bold, like this, then it just helps to kind of really load up the ink. Otherwise, it can take a lot of layers to get it darker if you're looking for a nice dark solid shade. Which I do. I find that you really get to see the shimmer a lot when you're when you apply these inks heavier. And I'll hold this up to the camera after so you get to see the shimmer in them. And if you've used these at all, then you also know that with the interference inks, you get a different color when you use them on dark cardstock. So, and maybe we might have time, I can do just a little demo on the black as well, on a black cardstock. So if you're using a black or a dark cardstock, you're going to get this shade, more of the bluey purple there. All right. So anyone up to, have you guys been doing some crafting this week already? Do you have plans for some on the weekend? I'm just going to move my ink pad here. I have so many projects to get like completed. It's ridiculous. I have a project cart, but the project cart is overwhelmed. So now so it's not just projects on the project carts, there's projects all over the place in my craft room. In the corner, on the floor. We'll get to them eventually. Okay, so there's stencil 1. You just wipe this off here on my little mat. Oh, I got ink on there. I need my rubbing alcohol. This will bother me. All right. Whew, okay, I feel better now. Sometimes I spend more time cleaning than I actually do crafting or trying to organize. I don't know if that happens to you guys at all too. Trying to put things where I won't forget that I have them so that I can actually complete the projects. That's my biggest challenge. Like when your project card is full, where do you put your projects to be completed, right? Okay. So I'm gonna just give that a second. I think it should be dry enough. And then I'm just gonna layer stencil number 2 on top. Okay. All right. So for this one, I'm gonna use the metallic ink in Sunshine, but because we're layering this over top of this pinky color, that should give us kind of like an orangey-ish color. So just beware of that if you're using layering stencils, that you're kind of adding color on top of color. You just kind of want to try to keep in mind a little bit of color theory so that you don't end up making brown with your colors. Okay. Okay, Monica, you need to complete 2 cards for birthdays on Tuesday and Wednesday for card making friends. Nice! Those are the most fun cards to make for your card making friends, because you know that they super appreciate the effort that goes into making them. I'm not saying that non-card making friends don't appreciate it, but if they don't really understand what goes on in the card making world, then they're not always as appreciative. That's what I find. Yeah, I have to make a graduation card for my daughter's friend. She asked me to make one yesterday. I think I have to do that right after this live, actually. I think she needs it for tomorrow, so I got to get on it. I'm sure if I peruse my project cart, there should be at least, 15 different types of products on there I can use to come up with something. It shouldn't take me very long. All right, so there's stencil number 2, and we're just going to lift that off a little. You know what? I'm going to make that a little bit darker so that it shows up a little more over that pink. Okay. All right. Peel that off. So there's our flower centers, I guess. I know it's called the Quilted Floral, but they're like, it's not like the florals that you think of. It's like florals that you had to piece together when you're making a quilt. All right. So I'm just giving my stencil a quick clean here, and I just use rubbing alcohol on the stencil. I find that seems to clean the best. Okay, and now let's pop in our last stencil, stencil number 3, and this is going to give us the leaves for this floral. Oops. I feel like something might have shifted a little bit on here. So I'm just going to kind of eyeball it-ish. Okay. That looks... Either way, it's going to be beautiful because we're going to do one more step on this after we ink this. Okay. So now I'm going to use the Magic Garden Shimmer. Oh, you're making a grad card too, Melanie. Nice. Although they can be pretty open-ended, right? Like, they don't necessarily have to be themed, like with a grad cap, for example. Although those do look nice. I think I have some cute lawn fawn guys somewhere that would make a really nice grad card. And I know I have a die somewhere, but I don't know where. I have no idea where it is. I really need to reorganize my craft room. Spend some time doing that, going through some stuff. A number of years ago, I had a bunch of stuff that were kind of in a box in my storage room, like unfinished kits and all that kind of thing. So I went through and did a huge declutter. And then there were a few things that I thought, I'm not quite ready to part with this yet. And I put it in a box and said, I'll keep it up here in my craft room instead of in the storage room. And I think every once in a while I open that box to remind myself what's in there, but I haven't actually taken anything out to work on it, like to finish those unfinished projects. So it's probably time to move them along, I would say. Because I think they've been sitting in my craft room for at least 2 years, maybe more. So, time to move them along. And they're probably at a stage that if I wanted to have a big crafty garage sale, I'm sure somebody would. Well, if you price it to sell or even list it on Facebook, it'll go. You won't have to hang on to it for very long. Okay, so we're just coming around to the last set of leaves here. but lots of crafty projects always to do, not enough time to get them done because life gets in the way, right? You still got to make dinner, you still got to eat, you still got to clean. But that's good. Okay, so there's our leaves. So I'm going to peel that off so we can take a look at what that pattern looks like. Oh, that's pretty. So I'm just going to hold that up here. I don't know if you can see that little shimmer on the pink. Yeah, really nice. Okay, so again, that's the Quilted Floral stencil. So I'm just going to clean up my stencil here real quick. And then we're going to do one more step on this before we kind of add our frame. So part of this release from Waffle Flower is they have a number of like dotted debossing dies, cover dies, kind of thing that will just give you a little bit of a piercing look. So when you use it with, for example, the stencil, then it kind of gives it, it looks like a quilted look over top. So I don't have any of those. We don't have those right now. But I went through my stash and thought, you know what, we're going to use I have the Dotted Swirls debossing cover die. So I'm going to run that over top of this. And that's going to give us some little piercings that are going to kind of mimic a quilted pattern over top of this cardstock or of this stenciling. Okay, so I'm going to put just a smidgy of washi tape on the back here so it doesn't move, and just bear with me. I'm going to have to step away for a moment because my die cut machine is behind me. All right, so I'll just run this through really quick and I'll be right back with you. And turn. All right. Okay, so let's take a look at. All right. Oh, look at that. So now you can see that. So that gives us, it looks like our little bit of quilting that we've done over top of that stenciling. So let's finish this off and add it to, and see, you know what, I think it would be really nice to do this type of piercing over top of pieces that we've pieced together with pattern paper. That would really kind of reinforce that idea of a quilted look. Okay, so I'm going to put some liquid glue on here, and then we're going to add our frame, which is going to be like the border of our quilt. Glue, glue, glue. I love this glue press. Thanks to everybody who enabled me to buy it, because I was adamant I didn't need it, and then I think I used it at a make and take, and it was like, oh, this is nice. I'm gonna get one. Okay. So I'm just gonna rub that on there, and now I'm going to put some glue on the back of my die. And again, this is the frame from the Quilted Frame die, the large frame. Okay, so and this just makes it like, it's so easy to just add those little dots of glue into these little areas. And I'm adding quite a bit of glue, in my opinion, just to give me some time to make sure I get the frame straight, so I have a little bit of wiggle room while the glue is wet. Okay, and then also I know that once I have it in place, then it's not going to slide around at all. Okay. So we're going to just line that up. So it's not quite exactly A2 size, which is nice. So you get that nice little bit of a white border around the edge of your, so it looks framed. Oh my, that is so pretty. Hi, Julie. All right, and look at that. I'm going to leave this sentimentless for now. Just because I'm not sure. I mean, make a beautiful thank you card, a wonderful birthday card, but I'm just going to leave it sentimentless for, like I said, for now, just until I decide. I'm just going to add a little bit more glue on the bottom here. I was not generous enough. All right. So such a pretty, that's really pretty with that little debossed piece here. I'm gonna have to go on the Waffle Flower website because I know they said, I kind of looked at it earlier, and they've got a lot of like these piercing plates, and it's a piercing plate that you would want to use with this just to give it that quilted look, but I'll have to see what they have because now I think I'm gonna have to ask Sandy to bring a couple in for me. Okay, but since we have this out, we've got a little bit of time. I'm going to take a little bit of time to do the same stenciling, but on black cardstock, just so you can see what these inks look like on the dark cardstock. So I'm just going to grab a piece of black here really quick. If I can find my heavyweight cardstock. Where is it? It's not handy, my heavyweight cardstock. Oh, there's a piece. All right. I'll just give this a little trim here. And we'll just go, we'll do that stenciling while we have this handy so you can compare. All right, grab my stamp wheel. We'll bring that back in. And stencil number 1, where have you run away to? There you are. Okay, make sure I have it the right way up. So I'm just going to, oh yeah, I've got it pretty much. So on these stencils, I don't know if you can see here, they've got the bit of the etching. So the etching, that gives you the name, and then it tells you, you know, which layer you're working with, but it also outlines, has the outline of an A2 card or A2 paper. So you can just line up your cardstock, and what I'm doing is putting it in the corner of my stamp wheel here, but up the edge of the stencil there. Then that way when I go to ink the next layer, all I have to do is just make sure I tuck it right into that corner. Makes it easier to be 100% sure that I've got it lined up right. Okay, so let's do this again, but we're going to do this on the dark cardstock just so you can see the difference in the ink colors, since we got a little bit of extra time. All right, so I'll just put the dark color here. So this is the color that this ink is going to look like on the black cardstock. So I can see it here on the, in real life here. So I might just have to tip this up for you, but I don't know if you can see that it's kind of a bluey purple. We'll be able to see it a lot more when I take the stencil off, so we're not distracted by the pink on the stencil. But super fun to get another color out of the one ink pad. And I believe Sandy's got the new Lisa Horton color shift inks on order, so we'll be having those in the store. I don't know if you guys have seen any of Lisa Horton's videos about those, but they've been, I think I watched a couple videos about them. They look pretty neat. They look kind of similar, but I believe they're more opaque, because there is a bit of a translucency with these interference inks. You can see we got to add a lot more ink too. Oh, there you can see. As it dries, you can see the color start to come through. Hi, Carla. All right, I'm just going to give that a quick, I'll clean it properly after. But I'll pull that off and you'll be able to see that. Ooh, nice. Nice there. I think you can see that. Okay, so that's the, so remember, okay, this is the same color of ink, of our pink ink on white. And this is what it looks like on black. Okay, and as it dries, that color is going to really intensify. You can see I have a little bit here. I went very heavy-handed on that stencil. Okay. Well, maybe give it a minute. Yeah, you know what, Carla? It's a fun stencil, right? Like it, and it's simple. Melanie, what is the difference between, I think your question didn't finish. So just fire that out there, what your question is. I don't know what the rest of it is. Okay, now this will be interesting because let's use the same yellow ink. I'm not sure what color we're going to get on here. Purple and yellow makes, I don't know if it's anything attractive off the top of my head, but we'll find out. Green, greenish, bronzish. Kind of looks like a yellowy orange. And this is metallic ink that I'm putting over top of this. All right. Well, this will be interesting. We'll see what color this is going to be. So Melanie, if you're referring to the new color shift inks, I'll have to do a little bit more research into them. Like I said, in one of her lives, Lisa Horton said they were more opaque, and there was something else she said about them, and I can't remember exactly what it was now. If I don't take notes, I don't remember. I've got a mind like a sieve sometimes. All right. Ooh, okay, so this is interesting. So over the dark, remember over the pink, it's kind of a orangey, like a deeper yellow. But then over top of the darker color, we see more of the actual just metallic yellow. Okay. And as that dries, that color is going to intensify as well, the yellow. So I like that. It's kind of cool. This was a good experiment, guys. Hadn't thought of it until we started. Okay. So let's put in this last layer. And I'm going to, no, we have to use the same color. So it will give us kind of a purpley. It should look like this color. Okay. So we'll add that one. So with this stencil, you know, maybe you wouldn't use a black, but you could use colored cardstock. That would be really fun. So it would be like, if you wanted to use, I'm thinking like a light blue would be really pretty. And that would be really a really great way to do multiple panels, even with the same color of ink. But if you use colored cardstock, then now you've got some interesting new looks on those. Yeah, you know what, Melanie? I'm going to do a bit more research on that and get some more information on what exactly the difference is between the color shift. I mean, I do know that I can't remember. Yeah, honestly, I can't remember the details. I need to look that up. But I'll get some more info for you. And that, and we'll go from there. I feel like there is some differences with it in comparison to the interference, but I think it's subtle. But don't quote me on that. All right. We're coming down to the last few. I'm going to add a little more ink. Oh, you're very welcome. It's my pleasure. I'm always interested in those types of things, the different, you know, what different inks do, what different sprays do. I do know that the Simon Hurley Stellar inks, the only thing different about them is the ink pad. The ink itself is the exact same formulation. So I believe he's just gone from a felt pad to a foam pad, I think, with that line. But otherwise, the ink is the exact same formulation. All right, so let's see what kind of, ooh. All right, ooh, I can see all the shine. We're gonna have to wait till this dries to be able to get a really good look at it, at the colors, but look at that. So same stencil, same ink colors. Okay. Just on the left on clearly on black cardstock and on the right on white cardstock. Yeah. So, you know, if one wants to take the time, it would actually be kind of cool to ink up kind of some squares of black cardstock and then die cut the little quilt squares and piece them together. But yeah, so there's a look at, and let me bring in the other sample card that has run away in, oh, this one. Okay. Thanks, Melanie. All right, so there is our floral, quilted floral stencil set. These two pieces here, and then here's just a sample using the quilted floral die set. Okay, and I'm going to finish making that other one where I piece the little blocks together that I showed you earlier. And then, yeah, and then I'm actually going to use that piercing die that I have on those paper blocks and run that through as well and see what kind of look we get. All right. So guys, that's all I have for you today. Thanks for hanging out with me. Carla will be back next week with something fabulous, I'm sure. If you aren't a member of the Scrap Shots paper crafting group, make sure you join. We've kicked off a new challenge for June, and it's be inspired by food or drink. So scrapbook layouts, cards, home decor projects, anything using paper. And inspired by that challenge, and we'd love to see what you can do. Post your projects in the June challenge album, and then you'll have a chance to win a $25 gift certificate to the store. And there should be some new goodies going up in there. I know Sandy just got her Pink Fresh order in just this past week, actually, I believe it was. So yeah, just keep checking till you see the June 1st category up, and yeah, there'll be some fun new products in there. So yeah, thanks for hanging out with me, everybody. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend and you get to do a little bit of crafting along the way too. So thanks very much, everyone. Take care. Bye.